everybody, what's up? You already know who it is. You know, we're here. It's towards the end of the fiscal year. Another 3 months before the true year starts in March, when everything will really get popping. So we figured we would try to check in, say what's up to everybody, and just give some words of encouragement, kind of lay out what we see kind of happening, going down. And one of the things I noticed is the age of the propaganda is coming to an end. We're coming towards the end of the woke psyop experiment. All of it's crashing down on them right now. A lot of influencers that were big maybe at the beginning of the first psyop, which was the COVID thing, a lot of them are dead now. Literally dropping dead, especially the ones that were promoting obesity as a viable lifestyle option. They all dead. Like, you could just look that up on Google. That's not even a joke. Like, they all literally dead and died of strokes and shit and coronaries and stuff by, you know, promoting an unhealthy lifestyle. So I've been noticing now that since 2020, it's 2023 now. So like 2021, 2022, we saw a purging of like a lot of male rappers and a lot of male celebrities, things like that. Like, a lot of them just was up out of here, whether by murder, human sacrifice, you know, ritual sacrifice, whatever. They just up out of here. And that was to make way for the new slut rap era we in now, where we have females just literally promoting sex work, you know what I mean, through their music. It has their job is sex work, and they use music to promote that job. So now that is the norm, you now also, what people are not paying attention to is that there's been a rise. There's been a 25% rise of female incarceration during this period. So this only seems like it's going up. So because the corporations and stuff have nominated that most melanated women need to be somewhat morbidly obese or dependent or totally dependent on the system by 2045, they're kind of on a good schedule if you look at what's happening right now. Yet there is a pushback that's starting to happen where you know, they're starting to pay attention. However, there's not enough females standing up against it, which then creates a vacuum that allows the mainstream to say, well, if there's no females really standing up against this behavior, this must be what they are. So now the sex worker is now promoted as the viable lifestyle option above the nurse, above the doctor, above the businesswoman, above the self-respecting woman. Like, anybody that's selling sex worker, you're selling feet, you're doing something like that, then you're gonna make a lot of bread. Like, they're gonna throw money at you, because that's the way for you to be able to.
At feet.
Yeah, they're gonna be throwing. You selling feet, you selling sex, you selling tongue picks, whatever they doing, armpit picks, whatever these sicko niggas y'all feeding with this bullshit continuously is creating a vacuum. While on the other side of the spectrum, men, this is the first time where men are not only alone, where men aren't even necessarily commiserating with men, because real men, real masculinity has been under a consistent attack since the Barry Soetoro administration, who may or may not be a homosexual man married to a transsexual man. However, that's what has been pervasive amongst the internet from before he even got in office. I remember talking about that before he was even elected, when Bush was still president. So a rumor ain't a rumor that don't die. So these people are literally fostering this, you know what I'm saying? And now it's created a circumstance where again, white liberal capitalists who are already racist, who already see you as an extension of their own happiness. The magical Negro, the American magical Negro, that's there to help them in their life, like Uncle Remus in Song of the South, or Stephen in Django. Like, this is the type of, like, if you're that type of black man, that's the only type of heterosexual so-called black man they can have. They can have a nigga like that. But any other way, the only way you're going to be respected is if you are homosexual or homosexual adjacent, you know what I'm saying? Or some sort of sodomite that allows the rainbow mafia to put you up on a pedestal, that then allows them to use you as the gateway into civil rights, which is what they have done. They come into every movement, and by they, I'm not even talking about homosexuals or sodomites. I'm talking about the communists. I'm talking about the Marxists. I'm talking about the underlying anarchists that have been working to slowly destroy and you know, depreciate the country, which they're doing a good job, you know, but what it's done is it's created a whole new way for racists to get money. So if I want to sterilize people and I want to at the same time get them to dehumanize themselves, and what I'll do is I'll play up on their ignorance, I'll play up on their ego and their loose moral fiber that I've also helped slowly erode over the years, to the point now where they just accept anything. They'll just do and say anything. So now they're using open sex workers, you know what I mean, to promote products now. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, you know, they'll have porn stars and stuff, like, actually selling women products and stuff that they need to put in their you know, private parts and stuff like that. Yeah, I was gonna say.
He's going there. He going in.
Somebody sent me a clip of this commercial, and it was just crazy how the whole thing was just so cartoonishly over the top with the sex. And then when I looked in the thing, it's a spray for females that have like odors or whatever the hell it is. So instead of them talking about like how to not get the odor in the first place and stuff like that, they can't do that, because then that would be promoting them not being promiscuous. So we have to promote the promiscuousness, and we have to anchor it by getting somebody who's already known for being promiscuous to make it look dope. So that's where the
suppositories.
Right. So that's where the sex workers and the porn stars are coming in to sell this product. So then when I looked up the product, found out that the whole company is owned by a Caucasian woman, right? And on top of that, I looked into it also, and it was, they were using stuff like boric acid, and I was like, that I remember my mother using that to kill like
cockroaches,
roaches and shit. Like, so then I went and asked the Empress, like, yo, well, boric acid is not good to put in in yourself, is
not
it?
unless you have extreme vaginal issues, and have maybe had some STDs and some. You know how like something becomes mainstream when really it was just supposed to be for 1% of the population, and it was based on them being what he's talking about, like sex workers. Eggs? Yeah, the yoni egg. That whole era just collapsed.
That to me, that was the start of all.
It was the start of this. But
crap.
He came to me. He was like, first of all, what is it with these companies that only use black folk and only use like black people on their marketing and in their commercials, and it's owned by a white person? I said, well, because, you know, not only do we already know we consume a lot of stuff, but it's an agenda to probably sterilize us long term. Boric acid or any type of suppository, and this isn't to shit on the company or to be thing, everybody can make money. But when you are specifically marketing, I'm gonna come a little closer just because I like people to see my face and stuff. When you are specifically marketing your products to people of color, and it's especially like suppositories, things of that nature, you don't want to use boric acid or anything of that. Side effect, yes. you're gonna have more a watery vagina, because not only is the pH levels gonna become so acidic, but your body is looking to flush out whatever is going on inside.
So you're tricking it. So you're tricking it to act like it's getting moist, but really it's trying to put out the fire that the boric acid is creating.
Absolutely. Not only is it doing that, but it is changing your pH levels. You're no longer alkaline. Boric acid is going to make you extremely acidic after time. It's going to stop lactate. You're going to not lactate if you're breastfeeding. You're going to have issues with breastfeeding. You're going to have issues with condoms not working, because they're going to thin the condom, because your vagina is so acidic that now condoms are going to start to break. Your lover and or man, boyfriend, he's going to start to feel a burning sensation at the tip of his penis, because you can't have sex with a woman that has a lot of boric acid or these types of suppositories that are there to promote, liquid and make you feel wet and all this stuff. It's like, whatever happened to cucumber watercress juicing, or a okra salad, or having a couple even raw pieces of okra? Just
No, nothing about that.
But that's what you can use if you have a dryer, or you feel like your vagina needs a little bit of moisture down there. You just drink more water. Drink more water and have watercress salads.
They don't drink water, they drink Alizé and Hennessy. What are you talking about?
Why are you talking about? Oh my God, you've been talking about. What's this girl's
That's
name?
all they rap about.
What's this girl's name?
I don't care. It don't even matter.
It don't matter. But
you
what
could just swap one out for the next. They all talk about the same stuff.
what is crazy to me is that it's now becoming like mainstream. And I'm not, as someone of color that does have a business, shout out to Cordoba Organics, this is why I started making products, because I wanted everything to be able to be used downstairs. I wanted women to not have any issues. I wanted our daughters, our sons, not to have any fertility issues long term. And I wanted to trust a product, because people are doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Their energy is a little off. You don't know where they're making these things at. And again, you cannot.
Yeah, we do. We don't see.
But you know what I mean? Like, you don't know if the factory is dirty, if it's got too many hands in the pot. What the obsession?
They're
He said to me,
pulling hair out of the sewer drains, y'all. They pulling hair
to make wigs,
out of the sewer drains
to make lace fronts and wigs.
Front wigs and all of the fake hair. They pulling hair. They digging up dead bodies. They digging up corpses and shaving the corpses.
I just wanted
or
to
the
come down
hair
and say what's up.
And they washing it with dirty water and cursing the hair and putting it in bundle packs to mail over here
Oh my gosh, I'm starting to
on
itch already.
rat-infested containers, right, with rat droppers and shit. Then they take them out of the thing, right? Then they go to the thing. Then they put them, hang them right on the hanger. Hang them right on the hanger for you to now come in, get the shit sewed in your head now. Now look, you done sewed the corpse hair, the sewer hair, the cursed hair, right? The hair that the little girls are getting their heads shaved, crying. They're crying because they've been growing their hair for the whole time. They wicked fathers, they wicked mothers is getting 5 cents a yard for the hair. And then you here in America, you free to grow your own hair. You're going to take that, sew it in your head, Then you know what they do? Go to church and then pray to whatever God. Like, do you understand the crown, the thing that you need to communicate has now been totally saturated with death. And then you expect life to be good.
And a lot of people are happy with it. And so if I look good, then they feel good. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I'm just trying to remind people that you whatever's viral, whatever is popping in the streets, there's a backside agenda to it, unfortunately. And this is what I mean by it. This is why, sometimes it's like, well, if you have a problem with something, at least for me, I like creating a solution, or at least being in a space where there's alternatives. And unfortunately, my stuff might not ever in life go viral, but what is viral is results. The results with people, the testimonies that I receive that I'm so encouraged and grateful for. And aside from products, why is it, I'm a woman of color, yes, the products are made for every nationality, but especially for women with melanin that don't necessarily want to use things. You want to move closer? Use things that are going to, bleach our skin over time.
But
That's
they
gonna
want
bother.
bleach. They want bleach. They want it. It's in
I think
all of their
people
products.
want to feel bright, and then the brightness is sold through the bleaching agents and the bleaching creams.
See what I'm saying?
He's like,
talking like that.
He's
That's
like,
what.
you're so
That's
hot.
why. That's why they do what they do. They talk themselves into it. They talk themselves into the bleach by saying, you know what? I don't want to be bleached. I don't want to be bleached. I just want to be brighter.
Right, but these are the trigger words. You can have bright skin but still have deep
I'm not a
melanin.
racist. I just have preferences. You see what I'm saying? I'm not
You're
fat.
right.
I'm just,
Chunky adjacent, thick adjacent.
Right. I'm just thick.
Thick.
Right.
But the problem is
I'm not
when
black. I'm mixed.
When you start to use products and put stuff in your vagina that you don't do the research on, just because there's a viral thing on Twitter or TikTok or whatever is taking place, now you're gonna have sterility issues. You're gonna have he's gonna have problems.
But they don't even want to get pregnant no more. They don't even want to do that.
Well,
They're
let's say there's a
forestalling it.
small amount
Well, no,
of
that's not
pocket-
true. Men
You're right.
are having less thing because men right now, if you really check the statistics and everything, men are at an all-time low. This is the most demoralized men have been in maybe 6,000 years. Maybe, that's generous. Yeah, maybe about 6,000 years. Because 6,000 years ago, they wasn't asking what their pronouns was and none of that shit. They was living they life. They was really living like, oh, it's a saber-toothed tiger. Oh, it's a dragon. Like, you had to live, my nigga. Like, there was no, what's really, what do I feel about? There was no time for none of that. There was no time for contemplating shit. That's why when you could sit and contemplate or whatever, it was good. And the only way that you could really have something is to have people having your back, man. And now this is a time where men are the most isolated, the most lonely. Why? Because
most hunted.
Right. Well, yeah, because they have convinced women that a thing called the patriarchy exists, and that the patriarchy came and got rid of this wonderful, beautiful fantasy utopia where you had beautiful women, goddesses that were just around, and they just took care of all of them, took care of all of the needs. Nobody was fighting one another, and they just lived in clouds, and they just provided the rolling hills for nobody and all of that. And men just, I guess men just was just there to worship them and make sure that they just had it all. So then you gotta ask yourself, well then if that was the case, then where did all the human sacrifice and all of the infanticide and all of the abortifacts and all of that shit, where did all of that shit come from? Oh, well, it came from the same people. Cause Ishtar, I don't know if y'all know, but she demanded sacrifices. She needed blood, she needed young girls, right? She needed the chastity, right? That's Ishtar. What's her name needed it too? Sekhmet, she was voracious with blood. They had to literally lock Sekhmet up in a not a cave, but like a confinement, because once she got a taste of it, it was a wrap. Like, she was doing her thing. Not to mention, you want to get into some of the other lesser known goddesses, or Isis, Urania, or Semiramis, or what's the other one? Ashtaroth, or Asherah. Like, some of these goddesses was just, they were really about it. And so what happened was, men had to step up and was like, no, you can't have this baby. You can't sacrifice this family. We can't, you know what I'm saying? We can't drain all the virgins so that way you could bathe in their blood to live forever. We got to stop this type of shit. And that's where the patriarchies rose up with the help of women, because it wouldn't have happened if women didn't help us. And we shut all of that stuff down. For thousands of years, and ushered in a millennial reign. You understand? To the point where somebody like a Yehoshua, a Nazarene, could come and literally sacrifice himself so that way nobody from that point on, nobody who did human sacrifices would be able to get their shit off because he did the ultimate one, right? And what did they do to him? They took him, they got rid of him, put Mary right back in his place, right? Said, no, Mary's God again. See, who did that? Who was ushering that in? The Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church. That's pagan. The pagans did that, right? And then who helped them? The nuns. Who were the nuns? The witches. Who was the witches? The ones who was carrying on the old Heterosexual sacrifices that they had been doing from the time that these matriarchies that y'all say that y'all goddesses from for so long was doing. Look at what telling women that they God has done to them in the past 3 years. Just in the past 3 years. Do you understand that there's a church to Beyonce where you got people worshiping this person, this thing as a god, right? In this time, in real time, doing that. And nobody's saying anything about that. Nobody's saying that's blasphemous. Half the people in the church is probably Christian. And this is what I'm saying. The cults have come back. So,
and it's changed everything.
Yeah.
Hollywood, movies. We just watched Rebel King. What was it?
Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon. I'm like, Rebel King.
It might as well be Woman King. Same shit.
Because Rebel Moon is all feminine. What I find interesting is that, you remember a time where men and women were in movies, like could be, main characters in movies. Now it's like all female. Yeah. And it's kind of made it a little boring. I don't know if anybody else feels like this, but it's great to watch women protagonists, but when there's no masculine energy to balance it out, it's unbelievable to me.
Just go on.
Like, not all these females can wreak havoc like this. There's a couple of, vixen, I don't even know what to call. There's a couple of women that you could be like, okay, no doubt. I
like
believe
Celina Underworld. She a vampire.
But the character development and the way that it's written,
dope.
She falls in love.
She still had a man.
She had a man.
She had
a
baby.
About protecting her daughter. It's still very much a feminine aspect and role. And the way that she fought, it was very low to the ground.
For her.
She used a lot of things around her to fight. Now, Rebel Moon, she's fighting these men, busting them in the face. She don't have no bruises on her hands.
She's not even a vampire.
Her face ain't right. Her face is not bruised. I'm like, wow, she must be made of steel. But she's like a dainty,
She's not even Wonder Woman. See, I could get with Wonder Woman doing that. That makes sense.
But this is also a superhero. It's different when you have superheroines or like Elektra.
And even then,
Elektra even was great because
but there would be, but there was Daredevil too.
It was Daredevil's movie. But what I was trying to think, just using the environment to help her fight with these men. It's like not every female could be a John Wick in a movie and it'd be believable. And that's not to say that women can't be the heroines and all of that, but this is why, to me, certain movies are just not good anymore, because there isn't any balance between the masculine and feminine.
Yeah, and that's all to help demoralize, break down the thing that brings everybody together. Because you could be, grow up in a Klan home, you could have grown up in the Black Panther home.
You want some coconut water?
You could grow up in a home where, like, your parents was Klan members, right? Straight up racist and all of that, right? And then you, melanated man, you could have grew up in a house where, they was hardcore, RBG, Black Panthers, gorillas, whatever. And they feel how they feel, but, when Knight Rider came on, you know what I'm saying? Like, they watching that shit the same way, and they could have beef, but then if one of them would have found out, I watched Knight Rider. Like, they could have a whole conversation about that. Put all of that shit aside. That's what I'm saying. The power.
Saying something that brings commonality.
Yeah, like the one thing about America, we all what makes us American is that we all know we on our own. But aside from that, what brought us together was entertainment. Like, there was millions of white people that tuned in every Thursday to see what the Huxtables was doing. What are you talking about? That's how they found out that we all how we was.
That's what people. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Norman Lear gets credit for all of these shows like Good Times and this and that, but he stole all them shows from a black man, a melanated man. I think his name was Clement something, and he wound up homeless on the street. You know what I'm saying? So I say all of that to say that the system, regardless of how screwed up it is and was, it still had elements of stuff that created a commonality that transcended racial barriers, and it still is like that. But so what has happened now is they knew that. So in order for them to control and make things worse, to try to push this fake civil war that they want to see pop, to stay in power, they know that they have to destroy entertainment. So look at Disney. Perfect example. Everything that Disney puts out is whack. Why? Because you can't take a brand that was created for boys and then try to turn it into girls in real time. People are not going to be down with that. So they're going to continuously lose money because they're insane. You understand? Everybody in that is not a part of the actual populace, right? They're insane because they exist in a world where everything is a bubble, where everything that they do is reflective of them. That's why everything that these hack writers do today, they have to put themselves in it because they're the villains. They're the evil ones because they don't understand the hero's journey. They don't understand that people, it didn't matter if she was a girl or I was a boy. When we saw Star Wars, we both rooted for Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. You understand?
And we all knew that Darth Vader was the bad guy.
Right. Until we found out about Anakin. Right. And then it gave us a more understanding that, this is about a family and the decline of this individual who was an orphan. So now I can empathize even with Vader. They just didn't they just didn't put, Vader in a pink uniform and be like, oh, Vader's gay now. No, we had to come into his humanity based upon us understanding the idea and the balance of good and evil. The hero's journey is man's journey. When I say man, I'm talking about the universal, the royal man, which is man and woman, right? So in that, the heterosexual aspect of that is the foundation of all life. Heterosexuality is the basis of the life of man. Notice I said man and not human, because human mean monster. So man, the royal man, which is us together, that is what allows us to be here to even hypothesize on the concepts that we're speaking of, because we were made to do this. We were not made to be isolated. We were not made to just be individuals. We have to do that, though, in order to preserve what was there to preserve for man, because of the relentless attacks that men are receiving constantly. And now it's become a subject by which now they have conned original women, i.e. melanated women, into thinking that they're a separate species unto themselves, as if they just materialized on earth again. And this is, again, the goddess thing that they're trying to continuously pump to females. Ariana Grande, God is a woman, or I kissed a girl and liked it.
I really appreciated Simone Biles, who's still standing up and said the man is the prize, because they really are. Men are the prize. It's not to say women can't be the prize either, but if we choose who we procreate with, then we should pick a prize.
Right.
We should choose someone that we are not only inspired by. I love that. I love that relationship, because regardless of how they narrated the video to make it seem as though this guy is dogging her out, she still chose to be with this man, and they still chose, two original people chose to be together. And regardless of anybody's personal opinion of whatever, we don't know what the inner workings of their...
But the opinion is only coming from one
corner
of the internet.
And we don't know what their inner workings of their relationship really is like. That's like watching one episode of a movie, of a show, and going, I know what the next 2 hours is going to be, because you watched 20 minutes of it. I'm very grateful that she's hopefully doesn't get affected by this, because what I see is sometimes them really trying to tear down two new, beautiful people that chose to be in love with one another.
They do not want people in heterosexual relations. I'm trying to tell you. The term cisgender, that term was coined by a pedophile. You understand what I'm saying? the guy who came up with that word is the same guy that says he saw nothing wrong with adults having sex with children, regardless what the age. This is what I'm saying. So if you are a person who expects me to identify with a word like that, and I'm telling you the origins of it, and you still like, oh, well, you gotta be that, then that means, you know what that means? That means you're a fascist. That means you're a communist, a socialist, a Marxist, you're a totalitarianist, and ultimately you're a horrible person. And because original people have been conned into this fake political stance that because they can quote 5-minute facts on TikTok like that means that they actually read the whole book that they got the fact from. This is what I'm saying. They've lulled the female psyche into a stupor by which it is now running solely through ego. And because there aren't enough original women who are not on it like that. And I believe that it's more that aren't like that, but because they don't get the burn, and because they don't get the light, right? They put all of the slut rappers and all of these people up front. And unfortunately, a lot of sober-minded, real nice females or women or whatever, mothers or whatever, they still identify with these bitches enough where they still will allow them to rock.
Society. They don't want
to they don't want to come out and say, oh, but the minute they see a man say or do something, you see what I'm saying? They the first ones open. So if this sounds like you, what we are talking about is the derangement syndrome that you are now infected with. Like Trump derangement syndrome, that is a syndrome that has now plunged the country into what they want to be a civil war, but it's not even going to be that.
Like Sexy Red being the best song of Ski Yee being the best song of the year being announced as like the great, and it's really. But
again, do you know how many black men had to die for that to happen? Mo 3 had to die, Vaughn had to die, Pop had to die, T. Wu had to die, Mo 3 had to die, Takeoff had to die. All these niggas had to die for her to be number one now. You understand what I'm saying? This is the game that you're in.
But this goes right into what you were talking about with the Hollywood agenda and how they're ending everything with the bad guy winning.
Right.
And then we don't see the result of what happens after the bad guy wins. There's a movie out right now called
Saltburn.
Saltburn. Oh my, it gave me nightmares. Saltburn actually gave me a nightmare. And this movie, let's just say that I couldn't even believe that there was someone who thought of something that demonic to write out. Because, you know, sometimes you don't think of things like this until you watch it, and then you're like, this is going to trigger people to think that they can act like this.
Hollywood is there to make you believe the worst about humanity. That's what they're there to do.
Can you talk about the ending of it? Not the movie, but
basically
just how it ends?
It used to be,
there you go.
The empire fell, right? The good guys walked off into the sunset. The guy and the girl got together and lived happily ever after. They deaded all of that and now make it where when it ends, there's no resolution. The bad guys win.
The bad guys
There's
win.
no hope because this is what they want you to feel in real life.
There's no lesson to be learned.
So, there's no moral fiber from it.
And this has been more than just that movie.
This is what they've been doing. They've been doing this forever. Since, I would say hardcore, since about 90. It might have started with Monsters Ball. Monsters Ball was one of the first movies that I remember. Like, wow,
that you went to.
Wow, look at that. So she gonna look. She
gonna be with this person.
You saw her realize this is the guy that killed my son. This is the guy that killed my baby father. This is the guy who vomited when he had sex with me. This is the guy whose father told me he was a racist. This is the guy who hates black people. And I'm gonna be with him. And then they went from her licking the cone, licking the vanilla cone, the vanilla penis, right? And then they took the thing right up into the stars, right? Because they want us to believe that. So now, when Gilbert Arenas comes on, and he talks about how Weinstein and them was joking about how all of the dirty white dudes had tossed up Hallie in front of the black men because they want them to know, ran trains on and all that, allegedly, and said it loud enough so he could hear, because they always want you to know that
I had your hottest honey pot.
You can't even trust your own women because we own them. They belong to the game, not the name. And that's assuming that this is a female. You understand? I'm taking it even there because The other side of the game is they've been pumping this low-key crypto trans thing in the community for years. For years. You understand?
But he always tell me, I never thought that.
I don't. What I know is that everything that Hollywood shows me is a lie. So if they're showing me a girl, it's probably a guy. If they're showing me a guy, it's probably in some way a girl. You know what I'm saying? If they're showing me something that they want me to aspire to, I understand it must. I have to do the opposite of what they're showing me. So once you look at movies like that now, you see what I'm saying? You now can see them for what they really are. They're all propaganda pieces.
And that movie Saltburn really leaves you like with your mouth open because there's no, you
resolution.
Cannot believe that this character got away with all of this and had a long-term con plan that really worked. And that is just, it just really did something to me because, you know, whatever happened to just a little hope for us at the end, a little
that's why
happen.
All of these acts,
this person celebrated at the end.
All of these hacks that are writers now, they're all fake activists. They're all mind-controlled, broke-down dummies. The same people doing this in Hollywood is the same people that's writing the screenplays. They're the same people destroying comic books, and it's all unfortunately, it's all to invoke.
What I just did. That's why I had to put it away.
Right.
Don't cry for this character.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. Word.
Oh, you heard me.
Exactly.
Don't cry for me. But I said to cry for, it's invoking. This is what they want for regular folk to be really emotionally moved.
Like there's no hope when really
I had to go to the steam room that
morning. Their end is at hand. Their whole thing is collapsing. This whole fake narrative that they've been doing since the day before this nigga got in office is now crumbling down around them to the point where they're willing to show that this entire government is a scam in order to stop one of their own from coming in and getting rid of everybody. That's their biggest fear, that everything that they've done is going to come back to them. And now that the flight list is about to come out on January 2nd, right? All of the stuff coming out with Diddy, all of the stuff coming out with all of these other things. TD Jakes, allegedly. All this shit, this nigga Danny Masterson, he just got sent uptown for, they just found 112 people, arrested 112 people in a sex sting, human trafficking ring thing out of Disney. Disney is collapsing before our eyes because they can't stop doing all of the woke shit. And who do we have to thank for the woke shit? Who the term woke? You know who they put it on? Erykah Badu. They put it all on her. They say, yo, she's the one who said it in a song, and then it became a thing. And to give her credit, I would say that at the time that she used the term woke, it was still on some underground mainstream shit. It was still what it is. But what do? They take a word like that, and then they create a whole fake movement around it. And now woke means you got to be down for what? Equity, social governance, and inclusion, ESG, or diversity, equity, inclusion, DIE, which is DIE. And in that, they were trying to create and try to use that to get people to remove the gas stoves from their houses. They're trying to get people to all get EV cars, right? Electric cars and all of that. They was trying to get people to force them through this woke shit to stick needles and shit in their arm, basically saying that if you don't get vaxxed, then you not woke. Like, this is the type of stuff they was doing. And again, they always use original women right now as the cudgel because, see, the original woman, she represents a trifecta. She can be a minority, she can be a female, she can be lesbian, she can be disabled. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where they're going with it. They want the diversity trifecta. They want to be able to say that she's deaf, she's black, she's gay, she's disabled, right? They need all of it. They need all of it, and those are the ones who go to the top. So if you're not ready to play one of those, remember, every light-skinned woman on a mainstream show, the love interest is usually a Caucasian male. That's just what they're going to do. Or if she is on it, she's going to be gay. She has to be gay, or she has to have some sort of disability, because this is what allows her to flourish, because that's the type of slay queens that they want. They want the diversity superheroine, so that way she can lead all of y'all into the future in a Beyonce utopia world where y'all go to the Church of Bay and y'all get y'all weaves from the same thing, and you basically reproduce in prison. Because they want most of the females, they said by 2045, they need at least the same way all of the black males is in prison. Get ready. That's why they trying to get all of y'all, so that way they can create nurseries and schools and shit in the prisons. So that way when you have the babies and you get pregnant by the COs and shit, the state now can take the babies now and give them the proper trans education that they need. You understand? So you are servicing a greater agenda that will allow the corporate government, right, that's now has a democratic face, a democratic socialist face. Remember, when you think Democrat, think evil. Think socialist, think evil. Marxist, evil.
Oh Lord, God.
Right?
Oh,
authoritarianism, evil.
Oh, Yehoshua.
Uniparty, evil. Ultra Republican, evil. Right? However, within both of those bases, you have an underground mainstream. That's all of us who may be a Democrat, who may think that they're a Republican, right? Who may think that they're a progressive or whatever. However, they have common sense to see that if I have to choose between this evil called Biden and this evil called Trump, I'm going to go with the one that I had the most success with. And at that point, we already know who that is. So they can't allow that. So they need y'all. So this is the time I was watching this brother Tim Black, big up to him. He was like, this is going to be the time where all the sellouts, this is when all the sellouts going to come out. All the sellouts going to come out and they're going to be like, yo, they're going to really be getting on you about this Biden shit. And in that, they're going to reveal themselves right away. So you just got to remember, whoever they say to vote for, do the opposite. Because Fannie Willis, Letitia James, Tiffany Haynard, who's the other one? There's a couple of these chicks. They done sprinkled them all around the country. George Soros got a bunch of hoes from the sorority cliques and gave them bread and said we're gonna set up a sting, a RICO, where we're gonna get all the Democratic enemies and we're gonna lock them up. That's what the J6 thing was about. They're trying to see if they can do it. So now that they try to box homeboy off the ballot, what's great now is that this gives other states to knock homeboy off the ballot. Pedo Joe. So if that happens, you understand what's going to happen is it's going to split the country. You're going to have everybody that's crazy. So that's going to be California. Anybody still in California, crazy. Anybody still in New York, crazy. Because New York just passed some shit where they could just run up in your crib and take you. They don't got to ask no questions. They don't got to give you no warning, nothing. Dope you up with all types of shit and all of that. Okay, so ultimately, that's happening. But like I said, underneath all of that noise, there's the rest of us. There's America, the real country, with the real people who not fucking with none of that. Regardless to what the ATF say, whatever they want to say about guns or crime or whatever, the place where they are the most vulnerable is the fact that this is still a constitutional republic. So Moors or whoever can bitch about, well, it's this and it's that. It don't matter. We are all guaranteed a Republican form of government. And in a Republican form of government, regardless to what they say, you are guaranteed your individual rights. So regardless to what they want to do, they can't suspend the Constitution. See, all of that's lies. They can't suspend the Constitution. They can't do none of the shit they say they could do. Because all of the stuff that you hear them saying that they can do is coming from somebody talking to you about what they heard they could do. So that means that none of it is really true. You're not going to be able to take over the country and shut off the internet. You're not going to be able to do that.
And I think this all started for me just labeling down here by myself.
See?
I brought all my pop. Sometimes I get a little stuffy in my space, and then I just be like, let me just go label. And he came down, he was like, there's nobody, why don't we, and I'm grateful that we set something up because I think we also fall into our own,
Yeah, we've been in the real world, man.
State of peace where,
Word.
I'm just grateful to have to have him in my life. We've come
Ditto.
so far, and you know,
We
I just
have.
also wanted to remind people you don't have to entertain family members that are toxic. You know, it's been
You don't.
over a decade that, you know, we haven't had certain energies in our life, more than over a decade. I don't even want to make it personal, but really, you know, remind people, don't put stuff up your vaginas that are coming not from your doctor. Don't use suppositories that are going to mess up your husband, your lover, your mate, long term, cause infertility issues within yourself and him, have his penis be on fire, burning. You think your vagina is squirting all this good stuff when really it's asking,
Trying to put out fires.
it's asking for a break. You know what I mean?
Again,
and I'm
don't fall for the sex work, man. Don't
Yeah,
fall for
I
the
don't know
easy
what it
way.
is
Don't
that
take
so
the
many
easy
women-
way out. This goes for males and females. It's just as many niggas now with OnlyFans as females, because men are becoming females to get feminine support at this point, because they can't get it from what they feel a woman can give them.
And I could.
That's
yeah,
not,
word.
and it's not even real, but this
Word.
is what is only pumped to them. And because they don't no longer want to speak life into men,
Or having them have opinions.
or
because
have
they'll
them
come
be
off.
men, they don't want them to be men.
That's why I like the Cam show with make, you know, there's certain shows I'm really grateful for that are out. Sometimes he be showing me stuff that just be making him laugh. And it's great because there are very few people that have a voice right now and aren't afraid to use it.
I
So,
mean, like I said, man, me personally, unless I've met you personally and spoke and whatever, all celebrities to me
Are
are
compromised.
down with it.
Oh, I'm not saying they're not.
So-
but you know, to show me like, yo, at
But
least
in
this
terms
person
of
is right.
their role, right, that I'm seeing certain people play, like, it's really dope. Like,
Yes.
I've watched
And thank
people
you for
like
bringing
him.
the positivity in it.
Yeah,
'Cause
like
we
the
go-
role that these people are playing that I see when they actually stand up and be men, you know what I'm saying? I'm really appreciative of that. However, I know
The back
that
end.
just like that, they do that. The next day they could come out and
switch
flip
it
the
up.
whole shit like Neo. Neo came out the other day against grooming the children that the Alphabet Rainbow Mafia trying to do, and then doubled down on it. Said, no, this is me. Forget the apology my publicist put out. I'm not feeling it, blah, blah, blah. Then what? Another 2 weeks later, this nigga's in a whole cow dress with a with a tutu on, you know what I'm saying, singing on Masked Singer with this nigga Nick Cannon. Like, who done created a whole race of baby mothers, you know what I'm saying? And again,
That's good for him because the women don't seem to mind. So
that's what I'm
women don't
saying.
seem
They
to
with
mind.
it.
Hey,
Because all of these women are buying for the same ain't shit niggas because they have bread, and half these niggas, if not all, are totally compromised to the system. They gotta bend over and take whatever they give to
can
them.
you read that out loud? What's that?
This is Lavender Leche.
And then what's this?
This is Tiger Stripes. This is real good for stretch marks for
What's
people
this
who
one?
have women that's just having babies. This is Rosemary's Baby.
And what's this one? It's a hair growth.
It's the
stuff.
hair growth joint. That joint grew my
Really good.
father's hair back.
And I use it in his hair like every other day.
Yep.
This is Capricorn. That's a Capricorn body wash. And we're in the season of Capricorn right now.
Celina
Yeah.
has the only line of a complete zodiac line specifically created for each so-called zodiac
And they're
sign.
interchangeable, but again,
They're
when you start to
interchangeable,
study little stuff in
But
herbs,
if you use the one for your rising and one for your moon, let's say together, like you on a whole nother level. I'm telling you.
but it not only, you're so sweet, not only that, they're all pH balanced.
Yeah.
They're all litmus
You ain't
tests.
gotta worry about no
They're
boric
all-
acid.
You don't have to think this is the pineapple,
No shade.
turmeric, alchemy. Very good. Remember I talked about brightening, where you have like your darker spots and you want to lighten and brighten, but not just not disturb your melanin production. That's
Exactly.
really, really
This
good
actually
for the
enhances
skin.
it and stimulates.
Same thing with beets and roses. Beets and roses is really good for
Yeah,
just
that's
creating a little bit of color in your skin
Yeah, that's
and
really
allowing your like if you have
good
any
face
type
wash.
of issues. Same thing with rose clay alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
Has bases kind of the same, but not really. One has pomegranate, one has the beets in it. The other one just has a lot more rose clay and
Mm-hmm.
other stuff like that. This is the Aquarius face wash and body wash. And again, they're all gel based, all aloe based. There is no water. When you look at a product and the first ingredient is water, I would stay away because they water
Same
in
thing when it
everything
comes to
down.
juice.
They water in everything
Same
down.
thing when it comes
Which
to
one is
juices
this?
and shit like that. This is the Aqua.
That's the hair shampoos.
Hair
One
shampoo
hand
is real
shampoo.
good.
There's like 6 hair shampoos now, but this one is a oldie but goodie. The Lazuli Blue is dope because Lazuli oil is really good for people with like deep craters and breakouts in their skin. There's also, what's this one? I love that you named this.
Oh yeah, this is more mushrooms.
This is more mushrooms. It's a skin, hair, and joint tonic, especially for people that stop smoking.
Wow.
Hey, I have to celebrate that because I never. Anyway, stop smoking herb or anything, and I'm not encouraging people to do the same. It's just I'm 46. I promised myself I'd stop certain stuff a couple years ago, and I'm grateful I did. But the more mushroom is dope because most products only have one mushroom, like lion's mane or tiger's. Lion's mane or tiger's. Why did I forget the name of it? Turkey tail. I'm sorry. I'm like tiger because he just had the tiger's oil. Anyway, the tiger stripes. But it's really dope because it has 7 different mushrooms in it. Cordyceps, shiitake, chaga. It's really, really dope. And there's no water in it. You know what I mean? It's just made with a little bit of ginger. Some honey is in here to make it just go down real nice and add a little sweetness. The ginger gives it a little bite. But again, I'm grateful to have had this product line and have every wash. I just came down and label all the gel-based washes, and just be in a different environment sometimes allows me to just be grateful for what we've acquired in our lives. And it's taken a really long time. Like somebody the other day was like, wow, I saw you driving. We were out here for almost 7 years without a car. So, you know, to be able to at least see growth in our own development has been great, because when you don't have grandparents or you don't have certain things, you don't want to rely and or, you know, have a OnlyFans page. And it's great to say, you know, it's okay to never sell your body, to never do anything of that nature, because, you know, why? When there's so many other ways to make money, there's so many other ways to be creative other than selling aspects of yourself and your soul. So
yeah, you don't need to
we didn't want to do this. It was like we only
going
going to do 20 minutes because I told him
you don't need to do that. You don't need to put yourself in precarious positions to get money and to do the things that these people are telling us to do. Like, it's way simple. This is the time where they're really trying to convince us that the end is near and it's all going to crash and it's all going to disappear and it's all going to think. And for a long time, a lot of us was wishing that, especially if you came up in the Black liberation theology, psyop, or the Pan-African psyop, or the Kill Whitey psyop, like all of those psyops, you know what I mean, were all there to get us to become more introverted within self and more xenophobic and victim-minded, because the victim lottery, the victim sweepstakes right now is really, really high, and the more victim you can claim, the higher you can do it. So they couldn't get the chosen people victimhood the way that they wanted, because Black people stay here. So what they needed was a way to circumvent that and get so-called Black people to do that. So now what they're trying to do with the Blacks is trying to turn their movement, their civil rights movement, into a gay rights movement by showcasing people like Bernard Rustin and talking, you know, shit about Michael Luther King now, like we didn't know he was into white women and all that type of shit. Like, this is what they're doing. They're trying to break down all of the icons that they gave you to worship back in the days and now make you see the real truth about them. And in that, they want to then take that and say, well, if it wasn't for Bernard Rustin, who was gay, then the March on Washington really wouldn't happen. So really, the whole movement was really based upon what this gay, but you see what I'm saying? They're moving towards that. So we're not going to talk about, you know, the fact that Langston Hughes was this, but we're all going to get into the swing parties that he used to have at the Hughes house and all of this back in the days, you see. The sexual proclivities now of the people that they gave you to kind of like pedestal now. That's what they want you to get into, so that way you're totally demoralized and seeing them as a person. That's what this character assassination of all of the characters you like coming up, whether it be Barbie or He-Man or whatever they're going to do. They're going to constantly try to destroy that you held dear. So what you got to do is become a custodian or a gatekeeper of those mediums and those things that you love that helped you identify aspects of who you were as a person. Not that you based your whole reality on the childhood things that you liked, but those things that you liked as a child that carry over to you as an adult is what allows you to hold on to your innocence. See? So the innocence that our generation, Gen X, has, right? We collectively maintained it. We never let it go. Whereas this generation, right, these little motherfuckers, they are so jaded. These niggas are so jaded, so like they done just went through everything and they haven't gone through nothing. Why? Because they are collectively participating in this social media psyop that gives them a false reality of us, because the state is trying to replace us as their caregivers, as their parents. Like so we can't allow them to do that.
It's like the girl role in Barbie when you were like, listen to this little girl, she's not even 13.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yes, they physically, like she's literally, this 12-year-old girl is literally like, breaking Barbie down.
And you did this, and I'm like wow,
Barbie,
her
like
opinion.
Barbie's a fascist?
Like the opinions.
But these are the things that they throw in little movies to try to get you to like doubt the fact that when you like Barbie, because you happen to like Barbie as a little girl,
that you were,
that you were somehow shallow, that you were somehow going to follow in through the traditional norms and then get you a husband and a child and then not go to work and then you're trapped in this life. And it's like, that's how we were raised. That's what mothers are, stupid. Like, what are you talking about? Who would want to work if they didn't have to?
Word.
Like, think about that shit. That's crazy. They're crazy. They boxed y'all into a position where y'all really want to be men. And now the men are standing back. Well, you say you don't want no help. You say you don't want us to you say you don't want us to call your name. We can't do shit. So in that, deal with it as like be a man. And now you seeing being a man sucks. Because nobody gives a damn what men think.
That's why I had to pick up my cardio game like 8 years ago. Get in this car, I was riding my bike with 12 bags on it, just
right?
always exhausted. Then I got a car and my ass ain't riding nobody. I said, if I don't take my ass, so 5 days a week, I gotta run for a half hour, do the stair stepper, do the cycling, because, when you're
luxury dulls the edge of husbandry, and it does. And this society wants you to not do nothing. They want to be able, okay, you got the flip top. They want you to be in the Jetsons.
But to even peep game, I didn't even let that go down for 3 minutes. I said, look, I am not going to have my cardio fall off because I have a car.
Right.
So, okay, I'm not out in the street, thank God,
right.
but I'm going to go downstairs, use a cycling machine. I'm going to run on the beach for a half an hour every morning.
What happens But what happens when you are
running backwards?
When you 5'2" or you 5'3",
I'm 5
and then you 300 pounds, and then you get in the check from this person because you're an influencer now, and they want to influence and they want this type of thing to happen.
No, you can't. Like right now, my abs is cut, but I wear sweatpants every day. I don't put on spiking shorts in the gym. None of that. And somebody said to me, if I look like that, I would. I said, that's the thing. I do look like this, so I don't have to do the things that other people
I know what I look like
to engender and it's not to
stop living for everybody else.
It's not but there was a time in my life where all I wanted to do was wear 100% cotton every day. If it wasn't 100%, it was 80. So I'm very grateful that my whole gear.
Yeah, y'all stop wearing mixed fabrics.
Word, my whole gear could shit, and I could always wear 80% cotton, if not, mulberry silk.
Get nylon out your house. Get the rayon out your house.
My closet.
Get the out your house. If
down.
It's not all cotton, all linen, all wool.
Yeah, I don't even.
Don't do it. Get rid of the mohair.
But you can't always do that when you're, trying to come up.
Man, you can go to Salvation Army, get you a whole bunch of cotton shit. 100%
right.
cotton shit for no money.
You're right.
For no money.
But back in the day, I would do my little that clothing line.
That's how they get us. They put the demons in the clothes now. Watch the clothes that you be buying from these stores.
When I didn't have,
they're putting demons in them.
Funds to necessarily get the things that I liked. I compromised. I did go to Salvation Army, all those things, but now this is what I mean with the come up and having a car and being able to dress in all sweats and able to go to the gym with no spandex on.
Mm-hmm.
And not to shout people that still work out in spandex, but I haven't worked out in spandex in 10 years because I can now afford the sweatpants suits.
Take the weave
that I
out your
want.
head before you start working out. Y'all female gym rats. Take the weave out before you do it. Don't work out with the same lace front weave in your head. You're gonna give yourself
Brain
cancer. You're gonna give yourself brain worms and all types
and
of
you're
shit.
gonna just lose all your edges. All your edges are gonna be ripped
This
up.
is
because
why
of
you don't
lose.
have it, because you don't convince yourself your hair don't grow. But that's not true. It's not true. You do not need the shit. Your man, if he's a real man, he wants to be able to do this. He wants to be able to put his hand through your whole hair and not have to worry about shit coming off, about shit getting tangled,
It's the same
about
thing.
whatever,
I've never
yo.
worn foundation or makeup, and it's not the thing, but this is why I make my own products. So I can always, moisturize correctly and have the right oils on my skin and argan oil and vitamin
If your man
E.
can't do this,
But you can't go
and
to the gym
if he
and
can't
wash
do
your
this
hair.
and just do this
You should
to
be
your
able
hair
to
like
wash
that
your hair.
without you going like that and just bugging, something's wrong. I'm telling you, and it's not him.
And also,
if he's
women
not,
with locks, wash your hair 3 times a
if
week,
he's
twice a
not,
week.
if he's not supportive of your natural state, get rid of that nigga. I'm telling you, B. I'm telling you. If she is not into your natural state, get rid of that chick, man.
Ooh, my hair be
You don't-
getting caught in the
See,
chair.
you don't got enough time anymore to be sitting here and going back and forth. Oh, well, she like, no. Dead it, man. Go find somebody who love you in the state you in. And then work from there. Build from there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is. Like,
And
that's
it
the
will
only
grow.
way it can work,
And
man.
it will grow. Sometimes people are like, oh, you don't understand.
The
'cause your
love
hair is-
alone is gonna make that shit grow. Just a nigga is just sit there and just rubbing your head like y'all don't even know what that's like. Women are so detached. They have such long nails. I know you're not wiping yourself. I know you're not even touching yourself. You can't even touch them. You can't even. If you try to shake her hand, it's like they could cut your hand. Like these shits is getting longer and longer. How long are you gonna get these fucking nails to get? And then what happens now is the shit that's inside of the nail bed is eating your nails, with the point where women's nails is literally falling off. They can't grow.
Oh, Lordy.
They're killing themselves, and you're paying for it.
Every week you go in there with no mask, but everybody that's doing your nails
Yo,
got all these
son.
masks on.
Yo.
You gotta ask yourself those simple questions.
It's not
and it's
cool,
not.
man.
I get it. Sometimes women are like, I have to look groomed. If you do grow locks, do not feel like you have to groom them all the time. Why? Because you do not. That is not what locks are about.
No.
You don't have to have them look like you go to a hairdresser every week.
No.
Those that do, kudos to you. But those of us that are growing their hair to really grow your hair, you know, a lot of people, oh, you don't understand because it's long. My hair was not always
wasn't
this
like
length.
that. No, it
I
wasn't.
had short. He was with me when my locks just started. I had short locks when he
Yeah.
met me,
Yeah.
or a curly afro that grew into locks.
Yeah.
And people, oh yeah,
This
you
was the
shouldn't-
first one.
You
This is
shouldn't.
the first one.
You shouldn't have. You shouldn't
And
have
that
locked.
shit started like this.
You
I
shouldn't-
remember it was like this.
You shouldn't have done
Like
them
this,
that
yo.
thick. It's like, well, I didn't sit there and tweeze them and do all the
My
stuff.
point is, when we was coming up,
You can't
you
even talk.
every person did their own. Like, you do your own. Those people that would go to the thing and do that, those are usually people who still wanted locks, but they work corporate America, so they had to make sure that their stuff was like that. And then
why
somehow
I started my
that
own job.
translated into, this is how all locks supposed to look, but that's not true. They're supposed to look how they supposed to look. My thing is, if you're conforming them because there's some element of you that wants it to look what they call, when you start using words like manageable and words like you're dealing now not with the hair. Now you're dealing with a psychological situation that was put on you about the hair, and it has nothing to do with that.
Word.
So what I'm saying is, or
Word.
what we're saying is, look into the personal triggers that you've given yourself or that you've adopted.
Or like when people go, you should have all your hair like this. This grew from me not wrapping my new growth, and it just continued to grow. Like I have mad spindles that I don't lock into my hair because my hair is so long now. I didn't want my scalp to show, and I didn't want my edges to become compromised. So, I went with the flow. It wasn't always this long a bang where I could pull it down past. It wasn't always like that. But again, I'm simply showing to express that it does not start like this. It starts small and it grows through time. And
Be
that's
yourself,
basically it.
yo.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
And
love yourself. Know that the end is not tomorrow. And as much as it's getting here, it ain't gonna be done until it's supposed to be. So until now and then, do whatever you need to do to have the most happiness, to have the best experiences, to face whatever fears and whatever situations you got to deal with or whatever, to be in a higher octave, and stop taking everything so personal from these people who, one, you don't know, two, you don't know, three, don't give a damn about you, and four, not helping you in your everyday life. If they're not doing any of those things, then whatever their opinion is means nothing. It doesn't matter who the president is. The only president that I ever saw a difference in was Trump. And under him, everybody came up. Everybody that I know came up. You know what I'm saying? So in that, I can only go by that. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend. He probably ain't no different than the rest of them. But what I also peeped is niggas didn't have a problem with this nigga until he became what he became. So that shows you. Niggas will be your friends. Niggas will be in your videos. They'll be in your movies. They ask you to come through, do all of this shit for them. And in a minute, their masters say he's bad, they will turn on you in a dime. So what that says is your real friends are the ones who are real. The other ones are just acquaintances. So stop conflicting the two.
And less is more. Stay away from the alpha hydroxy. Stay away from the microneedling. Stay away from the dermabrasions.
Stay away from the blood. The blood. What do you call that? The blood shit that they put in your face.
Stay away from chemical peels.
Stop.
Stay away
from the foreskins that they take it from the little boys and putting on their faces. Sandra Bullock. Stop doing that shit.
Stay away from the chemical peels. Stay away from the
bleach. Stay away from the umbrellas.
They're not. They don't call them bleaching agents. It's alpha hydroxys and all these things. You know, as you get older, you're gonna get little like. At least certain skin types don't. But I have like little freckles now. They're not. You know, they're not raised.
They say dark spots. That's what they say.
But no, it comes from. I used to tan a lot, no doubt. But they're not cancerous. They're not raised. Thank God. You know, but my dad has like that Jamie Foxx face where
my grandmother had shit on her face like that when she was 90, almost 98.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but a lot of women want to get them taken off. If they're not raised, let yourself age naturally. Let yourself get a little older. It's a beautiful thing, you know. And I say that to say you're not gonna always be 26. Now that I'm 46, I'm healthier than I was when I was 26. Right. And I'm just grateful that, you know, through time you learn more, you do more, but you actually, less is more. So less stuff on your face you're going to see the benefit when you get a little bit older.
Yeah, man.
And you don't have to Botox. You don't have to do any of that. The most that I've done in my life
Where y'all getting the money to do all of this shit? Y'all getting money?
All I said, the most that I've done is remove my chin hair with laser therapy after I had a baby because my chin hair grew a little bit and I've never tweezed or plucked or anything. So, you know, you go to a space where it has WAG lasers and I only had to have a couple of treatments and I don't have any chin hair anymore.
For people that don't that's like so oppressed. Y'all niggas are so oppressed, but y'all niggas got money for BBLs and y'all got money for trips and y'all got money for
lymphatic drainings.
Well,
all you gotta do is rub
your I'm talking about dudes too. Dudes getting BBLs. Dudes getting lymphatic draining. Dudes is cutting their legs open. And y'all got men. This is how crazy you done got men. You done got short niggas to the point where they cutting their legs open, sticking rods in them, and turning the shit to get 2 inches taller so they can just walk around with rubber legs for the rest of their life. This is how crazy these niggas are.
Most dudes I know that get mad pussy are under 5'5". I don't know.
What I'm saying,
I know a slew of dudes.
I ain't never thought about, yo, what would it be like to be, you know why? Because I grew up in a generation where you had to accept whatever your literal shortcoming was. You understand?
I'm 4'11", 5 foot with maybe a sneaker. And so I got with somebody that wasn't huge because I wanted to have a natural childbirth.
You accept who you are.
And I did have a natural childbirth, so don't believe the hype. You can push a baby out when you don't have a basketball dude that's 6'4". I try to stay with my own type. We twa people, so love who you are. Don't destroy what you are, and that's basically it. We love y'all. I'm gonna see y'all later. We were supposed to do this for 20, 30 minutes, and we went in the zone. So I appreciate the time, the energy. CordobaOrganics.com. Ducateers, Gumroad, Ducateer. Oh,
Yeah,
Aseer,
I'm gonna
Aseer
do
the
another joint in like after we
I'm gonna
post
start
this in
doing
a
this
couple
more.
of days
We're gonna start
because
doing it more.
I'm gonna do a joint specifically about the book I got coming out again and the A.Dot
Your
app
skin
that I
looks
want
so
everybody to
handsome.
get.
Your skin looks
Adobe
beautiful.
Organics.
Okay,
Peace.
bye.